Welcome, everybody, to the Built-in Buffalo Red Zone Report postgame show. Baltimore Ravens at Buffalo Bills in the divisional round. Buffalo Bills came out on top today, 27-25, and we are here to talk about it. Let's go, Buffalo. Welcome, everybody, to the Red Zone Report. I am host of the Red Zone Report, and this is co-founder Akeem Richens of Built-in Buffalo, here to give the exciting news of the day that the Buffalo Bills defeated the Baltimore Ravens in the divisional round of the AFC playoffs and are now Kansas City bound to take on the biggest rivals that the Buffalo Bills have had since Coach Sean McDermott has taken over the team, the Kansas City Chiefs, in the championship game next weekend. Hey, Rich, how you feeling, brother?
Hey, Rich, Akeem Richens, Built-in Buffalo. If you don't know us by now, ladies and gentlemen, please get to know us. Izzy, the Buffalo Bills win 27-25 and in front of, the Hallmark Stadium crowd. I'm excited, man. I feel excited about this victory. It was obviously it was a nerve-wracking performance for the Buffalo Bills throughout the course of the game, especially the second half, where I'm sure all of us as Buffalo Bills fans was on the edge of our seats, and especially certain things that we're going to get into it as the course of this show continues. But the Buffalo Bills, they found a way. They got enough points in that first half, and ultimately that first half touchdown by Josh Allen at the end of the half won the game for the Buffalo Bills, and they did enough to proclaim victory. And despite the Buffalo Bills defense giving up those that touchdown to possibly tie the game and go for 2-point conversion, I believe the defense played their best performance all season long. A very gutsy performance by the Buffalo Bills defense. We move on to the AFC title. I'm ecstatic, Izzy. I'm proud to be a Bills fan tonight. I'm proud to be a Bills fan.
Oh, yeah. The word was we can't get past the divisional round. The word was we can't stop the run. The word was we weren't physical enough. We weren't big enough. The word really was when we played you the first time, we were missing a lot of our dogs, and they came through. Matt Milano had one hell of a game for the Buffalo Bills today. Terrell Bernard stripping the ball out of Mark Andrews' hands and then recovering the ball. Taron Johnson flying around making tackles. DeMar Hamlin forcing a fumble in the backfield. Tyler Rapp taking the gimme interception. Still got to catch the ball, though, baby. And he made the catch. The Buffalo Bills came in there today prepared, hungry, and willing to fight. And they took it to the Ravens. They got after Lamar Jackson. They sacked Lamar Jackson twice. One of them being that strip sack. The Buffalo Bills today went out there on a mission. And I am just ecstatic. They had 7 tackles for a loss in this game today. 7 tackles for a loss. The first game, I could swear we didn't have none. We saw them again. We got our revenge, baby. It's time. It's Bills time. Let's go.
It was a great team performance by the Buffalo Bills. It was a team effort, and honestly, it looked like Lamar Jackson was the one with the 2 Pro Bowlers tonight in certain situations, and he's the one that had to make the plays to try to take his team over the top. And the Buffalo Bills, Josh Allen wasn't spectacular tonight.
No, Didn't
He
have to be.
was he and I think we can get into that. I believe Joe Brady tensed up in certain situations and in schematics. I believe he has to let Josh Allen loose a little bit more. We can get into, but it was a overall team victory for the Buffalo Bills. And I think the first half of the game really set the tone, the physicality that the Buffalo Bills brought. It was a tale of two halves, right? Because let's call a spade a spade. The Baltimore Ravens, for the most part, dominated that second half for the most part, besides us getting that drive and that's getting that 51-yard field goal and us getting that late field goal. That's 6 points in the second half. So it was a tale of two halves. So we did a very good job in the first half, dominating at the point of attack, showing our physicality, our O-line being physical, our defensive line being physical. We was winning the defensive and offensive fronts. We was winning in the trenches against the Baltimore Ravens team that is bigger and that is known as one of the most physical, if not the most physical team in the NFL. And I think the tenacity we brought in the first half is what propelled us overall in this game. And football gods, I believe in, Izzy. I believe in football gods. And I know, inclement weather and it's snowing out there, and Mark Andrews is a hell of a player. And I know there's no weather like Buffalo weather, but the Baltimore Ravens play in Baltimore and they have snowy conditions as well. And he's a seasoned vet, a decade in this league. So for Mark Andrews to drop that pass in that situation, football gods exist. And that tells me all I need to know, Izzy.
Hey,
I don't know.
I love the enthusiasm. I love it. I love the fact that you're this hype because I don't ever see this hype.
That tells me all I need to know. It was a great overall team victory for our Buffalo Bills.
And the Buffalo Bills this year, more than any other playoff year, seem more stable. They're more stable. They've been more high powered other times. They've been, more physical other years. They've been faster other years. They've never been this stable. The stability of this team is showing. Like, you're going to stop us from passing the ball? Cool. We'll just run the ball all over you. You're going to stop us from running the ball? Cool. Josh will throw it all over you. Today was a run the ball all over you kind of day. James Cook had some excellent runs today. Ty Johnson had some good runs today. Ray Davis came out there after the concussion. He had 7.3 yards a carry and a touchdown. Josh running 2 touchdowns in. Like, this game was amazing by the Buffalo Bills because no one did anything spectacular, but the team effort and the situational football that was used in this game is what really propelled this victory. And that's what they've been saying this whole time is situational football, and now they're showing it. Now you see it on a consistent basis.
You know what won this game for the Buffalo Bills?
Tell me.
The lack of turnovers and mistakes. That's what won the game for the Buffalo Bills. In all of Sean McDermott's era, he has been ball clubs of successful teams, but we've been rather reckless. We've been amongst the top in penalties. We've been amongst the tops in turnovers. And I think this year is a total shift. And that total turnaround and shift, we've been plus side in terms of turnovers all season long. They talked about it in the game, and that is something unheard of. And that is what won the Buffalo Bills game today. We played situational, sound football. Yes, we had negative plays, but the opposite team is a great team, and they're going to make plays as well. But we're not going to beat ourselves. And we've been saying for years about our Buffalo Bills, as long as we don't beat ourselves, we have a chance to beat anybody in this NFL. And this particular year, the Buffalo Bills don't have to play great. They proved it this game. They don't have to play great as long as they beat themselves, because that's how great of a team the Buffalo Bills are. Because when they're playing great, it's all over. It is all over. But to see them not performing as we've been able to accustom seeing in terms of a course of the season when we scoring 30 plus points, except for the New England Patriots in both games. Mm-hmm. To come out with this victory, man, it's impressive. It's impressive.
Yeah, the turnover differential this year, the Bills led it, the NFL in turnover differential. The offense this year, like Josh only threw for 28 touchdowns. He ran for another 12. He was right at 40. Right, he was one touchdown missed from not getting the 40 touchdown mark this year. That goes to tell you that we didn't need Josh to be Superman this year. He was at times, and in those times he didn't always have to be. Sometimes he just was, and then he was sitting the whole fourth quarter because he was just that dominant. And then now in this game, it was like, all right, we just need the team to come together and do what they got to do. And Josh kind of just directed traffic. And it's nice that when the time calls for it, they can say, hey, Josh, we need Clark Kent today, right? We don't need Superman today. We need Clark Kent. So stay back there, be smart. You write the script, and the guys will do the job. And they did the job today. They went out there and they did the job. No interceptions, no fumbles, no mistakes by the running backs, no mistakes from Josh Allen. The receivers did their damn jobs. No tip drills where you're like, oh, shoot, that ball's going to get picked. There was none of that. The guys went down when it was time to go down. The guys went out of bounds when it was time to go out of bounds. There was nothing selfish about any player on the Bills today. And the selflessness and the ability to check your ego at the goddamn door set the stage.
100% agree. 100% agree, Izzy. And it's like, what more do you want from Josh Allen at this point? When you think about the course of his career, what more do you want from this generational QB? This is that's the obvious. That's the obvious. In terms of who he is and his ability as a quarterback coming into the NFL, proving the naysayers wrong. There's a lot of people that said you couldn't teach accuracy and you couldn't be accurate. If you're not accurate now, you can't be accurate later because you can't teach accuracy. And Josh Allen overcame that, right? Then he had to overcome the fact of not being able to utilize that check down in the first couple of seasons. He only utilized the check down only about 2% of the time. And he didn't have that part of his game. So he had to develop that part of his game. Now the completion percentage, developing that part of his game. And now everybody talked about the turnovers. Josh Allen leads the NFL in turnovers. And now he's did a complete 180 and he takes care of the football better than people that want to label Lamar Jackson the MVP. You turn over the football. Why are we ignoring the statistic of taking care of the football? Josh Allen doesn't need to put up Lamar Jackson kind of stats because he takes care of the football better than Lamar Jackson. And because you take care of the football, you're going to have more positive plays. Therefore, you don't have to put up the numbers because the most impressive stat that's being overlooked is the lack of negative plays that Josh Allen makes. And that is the difference of this game. And I think that is overlooked in terms of when people are judging MVP. Josh Allen was a guy that, what are they going to say now? What you overcame the turnovers. What are you going to say now?
Well, they're going to say that he didn't put up a big game and that his stats weren't enough or whatever it was. When they clearly were because we won the game.
And we won the game. It doesn't matter. He beat Lamar Jackson tonight. He's 2-0. He's 2-0 against Lamar Jackson in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. That's your MVP.
He is the Mahomes to Josh Allen.
That's the MVP though. That's the MVP. But Josh Allen got him tonight in the playoffs. He got him a couple years in the playoffs. What are we talking about here? What are we talking about? Who's MVP? What are we talking? I don't care about the numbers. It's about winning the game, right? Yeah. Winning the damn game. And you know why you did more than Lamar Jackson? Because you made less mistakes. You made less mistakes.
Yeah. And they were coming after Josh too.
Of course.
And absolutely. Josh was way more calm. He was more cool, collected.
In situations, he would have turned over the ball in the past.
Yeah. Instead, he seems to have matured into an adult quarterback now. Now he's no longer kid Josh Allen out there playing backyard football. He does that every now and then when he has to. Mm-hmm. But if you're gonna give him 5 yards, he's gonna take 5 yards. Back in the day, he looked at that 5 yards like, man, fuck them 5 yards. I'm going downfield. And he would try and hit somebody way downfield. Now he's like, I need that 5 yards. It's first down. Them 5 yards are going to help. Because now if I go on that run and I get 40, I mean, that 5 yards made it so that way I didn't have to get 40, but because they were trying to stop the short game, I got 40 because they weren't looking deep. The levels to this game, the layers of the onion that we're talking about here go very deep. And now Josh Allen is playing like that guy. He's playing like that guy. He went from playing like Brett Favre in the first part of his career to, if this is where he separates from that gunslinger mentality, he went from the Brett Favre to, the Steve Young, where the mistakes just aren't there so much anymore. And he's just killing it. And he doesn't have to kill it with big numbers. By the way, someone in the comments asked what the temperature was going to be like in KC on Sunday next week. It's going to be 36 degrees, so much warmer than it is in KC today and much warmer than it is in Buffalo today. So those two guys, after playing in these cold weather games this weekend, should be a little more comfortable, but I'm not even worried about that. Like, so the Bills have a Josh Allen who can do whatever it takes instead of needing to be the hero.
So, and I'm glad that we were able to talk about the Buffalo Bills in terms of victory, in terms of more conversation for the course of this week, getting prepared for the AFC Championship game in quest to possibly go to the Super Bowl. It's exciting times, but let's talk about Joe Brady right quick, right? We go in halftime. It's 21-10, the Buffalo Bills. We get the ball out of half. In my opinion, that's a chance for the Buffalo Bills to go for the jugular, and we get 3 and out that first drive. And I believe we got a first down in that process. We get the ball again. It's 3 and out again. And in that process, the Baltimore Ravens offense, they're starting to dominate, and they've made their necessary adjustments, and they got our defense reeling. And I felt that the Buffalo Bills offense lacked creativity and lacked the urgency at the necessary times that we needed it. And that could have cost us the ball game. And I believe that's because of Joe Brady. And I think he tensed up in certain situations in this point of the game. And I know it's a big game, divisional round, Baltimore Ravens. It's a lot going on, and it's a jam-packed pressure situation and pressure moment. But this is why you're our offensive coordinator. And I felt the tension from my OC based on the play calls I was seeing throughout the course of the game. And I had concerns that we would be talking about the Bills in a negative aspect, and Joe Brady would be a main proponent in terms of conversation of why it could have went left. So how do you feel about Joe Brady, his performance, and what he can do going forward to possibly show more urgency? I guess. What would you take of Joe Brady's offensive play calling performance tonight?
I don't know if I'd say it was an urgency issue versus a lack of just changing it up, right? Because you know that after you dominate them in the first half, they're gonna make adjustments, right? So the same shit you did the first half, it's not gonna go in the second half. You got to do something different now. Now that you did what you did in the first half, you can't keep doing that, right? The Ravens coaching staff is excellent, right? The Bills coaching staff is pretty damn good themselves, right? Like you don't go 14-3, 13-4, whatever it is, and not have a good coaching staff, right? That's just how that works, right? A lesser coaching staff with this roster wouldn't make it to where we are right now. Let's just, as you say, call a spade a spade. Joe Brady had the opportunity there to say, okay, we ran it down their throat. Josh did this minute thing. Let's kill him in the middle of the field. Let's do something different that we haven't done this game yet. something that they're not going to see coming because they're going to now try and stop the run. And they did. That's exactly what they did because we tried to run on the ball, same as we did in the first half. It didn't work. Brady had an opportunity there to show some chops, and he didn't. He tried doing the same thing that was working in the first half, and I guess, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But after the first drive, that if it ain't broke, don't fix it, it's now broke. Fucking fix it. And it took from into the fourth quarter to fix it. We had to get to the fourth quarter to fix it. And I'm not going to sit here and dump on Brady too hard, right? Because we still won the game. The offensive game plan was fine.
Right.
But at the same time, you got to make those adjustments before they do. You got to be ahead of the curve. And he wasn't ahead of the curve. And that was the big problem with me with Joe Brady today. You got to be ahead of what's coming your way. You know they're going to make adjustments. You know that they're the best run defense in the league this year. And so once they figure out what you're doing on the run, they're going to stop it. They're going to take it away. Mm-hmm. And so you got to go a different route after that. Now, that being said, I think that once the adjustment was made, again, the team did what they were supposed to do. They executed the game plan after the adjustments in the second half, in the fourth quarter, and they did exactly what they needed to do. And I see my man Joe in the comments, Monster, Matt Milano, baby, let's go.
Yeah, Matt Milano, hell of a performance. We get into.
You froze on me, man.
Say it again.
You froze on me there.
Okay, you good? I'm good.
You said Matt Milano, and then you froze.
Okay. I said, yeah, Matt Milano had played a hell of a game in my opinion today. We're going to get into the defense in a minute, but getting back to Joe Brady, you have to know your opponent. This is a fast, physical team. This is a team that is going to blitz and is going to be aggressive, and you have to get vertical at some point. You have to get vertical at some point. We're at 3rd and 5. We're throwing 2-yard screens behind the line of scrimmage. We have to get vertical, and we have to have those vertical plays. And I understand that, and I love the trust that you have in the other guys. I love the trust that you have in the running game and the identity that you built in James Cook and Teron Johnson and Ray Davis. But at some point, you got to let Josh Allen loose. You got to give him the ball. You got to give him more opportunities. You can't. Tony Romo alluded to it earlier in the game. You can't let Josh Allen on 37, 38, 39 have that one opportunity and say, hey, Josh Allen, go put on your cape and go save us. You got to put the ball in his hands and make him use his legs or use his arm, use the arm strength and the arm ability that he has, and get vertical and get our guys down the field. Amari Cooper, I was expecting to be a little bit more involved in this game, and I'm a little bit shocked that he wasn't more involved. I believe he had one target. The chemistry doesn't just it doesn't seem to be there right now. But
who was that?
We definitely Amari Cooper.
Okay,
yeah. But
targets. I think.
Yeah, he had a couple targets, but I expected him to be a little bit more involved in this game, and we have to get vertical. We have to get more vertical going forward. We can't depend on that horizontal play, especially when we have that identity already. Patrick Queen alluded to it throughout the course of the week. He said, "Hey, the Buffalo Bills have a very predictable offense, and we was playing right into Patrick Queen and his defense predictability thought that they had on us. So obviously they had that game plan to stop us. So going forward, I would like to see more creativity. I would like to see more balls, more kahunas. Get rid of that tension. Hopefully this game was the tension breakthrough for our coaching staff. So we'll see what happens. Yeah,
I'm going to address one fan here real quick. Hello from Alaska. So happy our Bills defense. 2 more games to win, fellas.
Two more.
So this one hits home because I was stationed in Alaska for 4 years during the whole Lossman era. And I'm a big fan from up there. I lived in Anchorage for a little bit. For 4 years, I was stationed at Fort Rich. And I used to go to the peanut farm every weekend with my kids, so long as I wasn't deployed, which I was deployed up there to Iraq. And then when I came home on R&R, the guys at the bar at the peanut farm got me hammered. We were playing the Jets and we smoked them. But the guys at the peanut farm up there in Anchorage, Alaska got me blitzed. They started sending me shots. They were sending me everything. And it was like noon. So it was like they had to carry me to the car because it was wintertime and the roads were already ice. So my wife had to drive home, and it was a great time. Alaska was a great time. So if anybody gets a chance to go up to Alaska, go up there. You got to do 2 trips, one in the winter, one in the summer, but it's a blast. So yeah, appreciate that comment from Alaska. Let's go Bills.
Let's go Bills. Our Buffalo Bills defeat the Baltimore Ravens by the score of 27-25. The Buffalo Bills move on to Arrowhead Stadium to face the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC Championship game in quest to go to the Super Bowl. Izzy, let's shift to the defensive side of the ball. What was your thoughts of the Buffalo Bills defense in today's game overall? You know, Bobby Babbitt, Sean McDermott, that defense, Ed Oliver, you know, he stood out a lot. You might not see it as much in the stat sheet, but I think he was disruptive throughout the course of the game. What are your thoughts on the Buffalo Bills defense today?
I'll go ahead and highlight some stars of this game. Matt Milano, Terrell Bernard, beast this game, right? On the stat sheet, off the stat sheet, those two guys clearly passed the eye test. Ed Oliver, like you said, clearly disruptive. He was getting after Lamar in the backfield, even though he wasn't able to get a sack today. He was getting, running backs coming off the line. He was able to get off blocks and force the offense to rush through their progressions. Ed Oliver was outstanding. Von Miller was able to get some pressure. AJ Epinesa making stops in the backfield. But the big stars were the linebackers, Milano and Bernard. And even when he was in, our boy Dorian Williams making tackles at the line, laying hits on Derrick Henry. DeMar Hamlin, getting in the backfield with that strip sack. Money right there. The corners didn't play so great today. Call it a buck. The corners didn't play so great today. The other 3 parts, the safeties, the linebackers, and the defensive line, played better. Derrick Henry still had a solid day, but he didn't go over 100. He didn't go over 90. He had 84 yards, and then Justice Hill, he had a better day. If you ask me, 8.3 yards per carry. He was running amok on us when he was in there. I don't know why they didn't run him more, because he was having more success than Derrick Henry was per play. But the defense went from attacking to bend but don't break when it was necessary for the most part. There were some slip-ups here and there. Obviously, there's the Baltimore Ravens. They're going to score some points. But for the most part, the Bills defense did their job and did not allow themselves to break.
Excuse me. Absolutely. I think the Buffalo Bills defense, I think they did a phenomenal job. The numbers may look like, hey, the Baltimore Ravens, they dominated the game in terms of looking at the statistic, but the Buffalo Bills, their defense and how they performed, the Baltimore Ravens is a team that scores 30 plus points per game.
Mm-hmm.
And to hold this team to 25 points is pretty damn impressive. And when you're up 21-10, you're the other team, the opposition, which are the Baltimore Ravens, they're going to want to play more an aggressive style, and they're going to rack up more yards. And quite naturally, the Buffalo Bills defense is a bend but don't break defense. And ultimately, that's exactly what happened. The Buffalo Bills defense did enough to win this ball game today, and I think it was an impressive victory. Ed Oliver played spectacular. I think Matt Milano and Terrell Bernard, like you alluded to, Rasul Douglas to recover that onside kick on an island by himself. That's not
teams though.
That's not
teams, though.
That's special teams. That's special teams. But I have to point that out. For him to recover that in that situation, that's a pressure situation. And the Buffalo Bills, man, I'm proud we're a fundamentally sound ball club, and the defense, in my opinion, did a spectacular job this game, and they won the game. They won the game. We've been harping on this defense all season long. We've been concerned about if this defense can maintain other explosive offenses in this playoff, so the Buffalo Bills can stay in competition and contention. And they came out and put a performance like this.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I'm now Taylor Rapp's injury is a little, that's concerning. We're going to have to figure that out. Patrick Mahomes, he was probably watching this game like, he probably see a Taylor Rapp down. He liked to exploit opportunities like no other quarterback. So it's definitely going to be an adjustment for the Buffalo Bills safeties in the secondary going against Patrick Mahomes. But I still like, how he came out health-wise. Teron Johnson had a scare, but I still like how he came out health-wise for the most part. And we'll see what happens with the guys that got banged up this week.
Yeah. My boy was telling me before the game that if the Bills get 2 turnovers, they probably win this game. We got 3, and I feel like we needed all 3. Like all 3 were necessary. Right?
Facts.
He was off by 1.
Facts.
But
we needed all 3.
He was like, you guys get two turnovers, fumble, interception, whatever. 2 turnovers should do it. We got 2 in the first quarter. He was like, I told you, man. And I was like, all right. And then that second half started and the adjustment didn't come. And I was like, oof. And then Terrell Bernard, being the beast that he is, decided that, you know what? To hell with it. I'm going to do it myself. I say this all the time in Madden. I'm playing Madden and I'm getting no help from my defense. And I just say, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and use the Rousseau and get this interception. And that what I'm doing myself. Terrell Bernard was like, you know what? I'm by myself out here. He caught the ball, but nah, we're not living with that. We're not letting that slide. Smacked out himself, hungry, hippoed it on the floor. Boom, my ball. Josh Allen does the rest with the offense, and they take it down the field to score again. This game came down to who wanted it more. Who wants it more? And clearly, the less talented Buffalo Bills wanted more. We wanted it more.
All right, Izzy. Now you see that quotations. Records aside, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about that? Are the Buffalo Bills, let's call a spade now, do the Baltimore Ravens have the more talented roster?
In the skill positions, yes. Skill positions, yes. Right? So you're talking about wide receiver? Yeah, their wide receiver core is better than our wide receiver core, right? Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman, Mark Andrews. Like, you taking any of our tight ends over Mark Andrews? No. You taking any of our receivers over Zay Flowers? At this point, no. Kalishnik is close, but he's not. You still a no. Running back Derrick Henry, that's a no. If you're building a team today and saying let's go forward, yeah, you might take James Cook. But if you're building a team right now to win a Super Bowl this year, you're taking Derrick Henry all day. Right? You look at the defense, Patrick Queen. Which of our linebackers is better than him? You look at the cornerbacks. Marlon Humphrey's a beast. Wiggins this year coming out as a rookie, nasty. Kyle Hamilton as safety.
They're loaded. They're
loaded at talent. Right?
They're loaded. They're loaded.
Like,
Shout out to the Buffalo Bills. Shout out to the Buffalo Bills. Shout out Brandon Beane. Shout out the Buffalo Bills. Shout out the coaching staff, despite the tension that they overcame throughout the course of the game, man. So you're absolutely right. That I
talent, physical talent.
Yeah,
they got it.
Yeah, but and that's why they was favored. Even though I was like the nerve of Vegas, the nerve of these guys. But that's why they was favored, right? That's why they was the favorite team, because of the talent that everybody speak of, and everybody, we had to hear about this all week long. I had to hear about the talent and how big these guys and Ravens offensive line and the running backs and the tight ends, how much bigger they are than our Buffalo Bills guys. I had to hear about Lamar Jackson being this great quarterback and superseding Josh Allen. We had to hear about this all week long, and for the Buffalo Bills to win this game in this fashion, where they didn't have to rely on Josh Allen, was necessarily he just had to be the game manager. He played game manager in this game. He did enough to win. He took advantage of the opportunities. He scored a couple of touchdowns using his legs, and he made the smart plays and didn't turn over the football. And Lamar Jackson, it's a microcosm of their season. Lamar Jackson turned the ball over more times than Josh Allen this season. And we saw that in this game. And because of that, the Buffalo Bills did enough to win. And man, I'm excited, man. I'm excited.
So my boy here, he's right here, right? He must have forgot that last time he said something and you were like, yo, I heard that. Like, come up here and say something. I muted while you were talking. And he was like, hey, man, watching that game, what set the tone for the Buffalo Bills was special teams. Those first few kick returns by the Ravens, the Bills cracked the hell out of Keaton Mitchell running that ball. And he said, everybody was talking about the Ravens were going to out-physical the Bills. Derrick Henry, that D-line, or that O-line. The D-line, yeah, them too. Ricard coming out the backfield, blocking, 300-pound fullback, such and such. And the Bills said, nah, we're gonna show them right now. First time someone touches the ball, we're going to knock him senseless. And the Bills did that the whole first half to Keaton Mitchell. And I'm like, yeah, you could have just said that, and he would have heard you, and he was like, hey, man, spit a little more. If you're making sense, make sense. The Bills went out there with a purpose to not allow the Ravens to, how you say, when somebody intimidates you. There you go, intimidation. Like they did not give the Ravens the right to intimidate them. And I think that's a big deal in this game because that's what the Ravens' game is. If they can intimidate you, they're going to knock your socks off. The Bills did not allow that today. Pass.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. The Bills didn't allow that today. And, going forward, it's a great victory. It's something that we're going to celebrate tonight. I'm pretty sure the Buffalo Bills are going to celebrate tonight because this is a divisional game, but this is not like it wasn't a normal divisional round game. These were two great teams, two great quarterbacks that are on the forefronts of talking about being MVPs. And these are usually AFC championship type scenarios that we're being blessed to see in divisional round. And it was a lot of pressure on both quarterbacks, both teams, both quarterbacks, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, playing each other, getting over the hump against one another, being amongst the great quarterbacks with Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow and that battle. And that's what the legacy is going to be about when they hang up the cleats. Mm-hmm. How did you perform against the best? How did you perform against Josh Allen in the playoffs? How did you perform against Joe Brady and Joe Burrow and Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs? That's what the legacy is going to be based on. And it was a big game for the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen for that personal career standpoint, but it's still a long way to go. It's still, this is where we want to be. We got over that divisional round hump in this game against a very good opponent in the Baltimore Ravens, but now we faced our nemesis once again in the Kansas City Chiefs. And this is the year that, in my opinion, we are more confident as ever. We're playing, in my opinion, the best ball that we've played in years. We've been as healthy. I know Taylor Rapp went down today. I hope speedy recovery. I hope he's okay. But we as healthy as we've been in years. And this job is not finished, and it's attainable. This is attainable. So we're going to enjoy this game, and we're gonna talk about it for a minute. And then we're going to move on to the next team that's in our way. And for some reason, they're always in our way. And we got to push them out our way. And throughout the course of this week, we're going to talk about how we can find that way to do that.
It's time to cook the chefs, man. It's time to cook the chefs. It's over. But here's the thing that me and my boy were talking about earlier too, right? Eras tend to mirror each other, right? The previous era, it was Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, right? And clearly in this era, the role of Tom Brady is being played by Patrick Mahomes. The role of Peyton Manning is being played by Josh Allen. The role Lamar Jackson's playing, to me, right now, is Phillip Rivers. It was good enough to have a hell of a team,
Oh, I
get his
don't.
team to the playoffs, and not win in the
That's
playoffs.
harsh.
Not win the playoffs. He got to one
That's
AFC
harsh.
championship game. He saw Tom Brady in the AFC championship game. He got his ass whooped, and then he never saw it again. That's Lamar Jackson as of right now. It's early still. Like, he's only like 26, 27. But as of right now, that's what this era, that's the mirror that we're looking in, right? You look in a mirror and it tells you exactly what's wrong with you, right? That's where we're at. Right now, Josh Allen's Peyton Manning, Mahomes is Tom Brady, and Lamar is Phillip Rivers. He can get the playoffs, he can win, a couple games here and there, but for the most part, he's gonna get his ass kicked. Because he's gonna meet the big boys, Peyton Manning and Tom Brady. That's where we're at with this era of football. Yeah, Phillip Rivers had a great career. He was like top 7 when he retired in all QB stats. But when it came down to winning a title, what did he do? Nothing. And he had LaDainian Tomlinson, who's Lamar got. He's got Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
That's where we're at when you look at the AFC in this era right now. And so,
How much did home field advantage play a part of this victory for the Buffalo Bills?
I think it played a part because the fans were on the Bills side, the noise, but the temperature wise, I don't think it was that big of a deal. Lamar was out there with no sleeves on. If it was a big deal, he'd have had some sleeves on. Josh Allen had sleeves on. Lamar had no sleeves. So to me, that lets me know either A, Lamar's bullshitting and, just out there, showing out, or it's not that big a deal, the temperature wise. The snow. Like, we've seen James Cook's from Miami. When we played the Niners in Buffalo, he had a 76-yard run. And I feel he was outrunning everybody. Nobody touched him. So what? They both everybody's got to play in the weather, and most of these players are from Georgia, Texas, Alabama, Florida, California. It affects everybody the same. Matt Collins out there in shorts and a shirt that's open with some sunscreen on his nose and a hat. Like, the question is, who's tougher? Who's tougher? It's cold in Baltimore. It's cold as shit. It's cold as hell here. It's in the teens here in North Carolina where I'm at. It's cold. Deal with it.
I think we give the Joe Brady credit where we do give him credit is him being infectious in terms of taking care of the football, because it comes from somewhere. The Buffalo Bills wasn't like this the whole time, kind of like Vic Fangio for the Philadelphia Eagles, the DC over there. They have a lot of the same players over there, and that it looks like two totally completely different defenses from one year to the next because of his coaching scheme and his coaching philosophy. Joe Brady has brought over an approach that builds an identity that gives us a balanced game, a balanced schematic attack in terms of running pass. Joe Brady has built the trust in running backs to being able to catch the ball out the backfield. And he spreaded that belief to Josh Allen, and he utilized his running backs now more than ever. And because of that, Joe Brady's scheme and his ability to take care of the football because of the type of scheme he runs has become infectious throughout the course of the entire Buffalo Bills offense. And when you have a defense that is opportunistic in terms of creating turnovers, the turnover differential has been on the plus side for the Buffalo Bills defense throughout the course of the season. And they displayed that today. When you have that blend between offense and defense, it can spell a nice mix and equal success. And I think the Buffalo Bills are benefiting from that success in both sides of the ball and not turning the ball over on offense and creating turnovers on defense.
Yeah, agree. There's a comment here that caught my eye, though. Mr. Tommy Barboa So Lamar played very well, minus those 2 turnovers. Andrews sold hard. Can't really blame this loss on Lamar, in my opinion. We got some luck our way, and Brady made some questionable offensive play calls. But however they do it, that's what he's trying to say. Just get the W, go Bills. Well, I agree with the end sentiment. Yes, they can blame this loss on Lamar Jackson. He turned the ball over twice. That's 2 out of the 3 turnovers that they committed. If Josh had 2 turnovers in this game and we lost, they're gonna put it on Josh. Yes, we can. We absolutely can put this on Lamar for them. If you're a Ravens fan and you say Lamar lost this game, yeah, he did.
Mm-hmm.
He did. Sorry, but not sorry.
You absolutely, you're down 21-10, and the Buffalo Bills, their defense, our defense, and the Buffalo Bills, we're predicated in the bend but don't break. We're willing to give you the yards if we're not conceding the points. That's the whole philosophy in the Buffalo Bills defense. So when you look at Lamar Jackson, 18 for 25, 254, and I don't even think that's impressive like that. But 18 for 25, 254, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, 1 fumble loss. When you look at the 254 yards, a lot of that is because of him being down majority of the football game and having to make those type of plays to will his team back. So those turnovers, absolutely, you can blame Lamar Jackson. That's now it's blame to go around.
Yeah,
the line didn't help him. Mark Andrews drop obviously didn't help the situation. There's definitely blame to go around, but Lamar Jackson 2 turnovers. That's a big part of why they lost the football game.
Yeah, when one quarterback commits 2 turnovers himself, and then the other commits 0. Not only him, but the whole other team commits 0. There's only one other turnover in this game, and it was by Andrews. Mm-hmm. That's the game. Mm-hmm. That's the game. And they almost still had enough power to take this to overtime. They still almost had enough power to go to overtime.
And when you in situations like that where you have two turnovers and you possibly a main reason why you lose the game, now you have to do things to come back and try to win the game. And guess what? If you win the game, you're going to be the main reason why they won the game. And if the Baltimore Ravens was able to do that, they wouldn't be talking about Mark Andrews in the catch. No. They would be talking about Lamar Jackson overcoming the deficit and being victorious and beating Josh Allen. So ultimately,
let's see if the media spins this that way, right? Let's see if they do it.
Ultimately, he would have been the hero if he won. So he has to take a brunt of the blame, being the quarterback, having two turnovers in a loss, in a divisional game, in a game where in a playoff game where everybody talks about your struggles in the playoffs. You know about your struggles. You came into the game and said, "Yo, I seen they like to play that little interception. They like to play that little interception. Yeah, I see that. And guess what? You threw another interception. And guess what? You turned over the football again in a fumble. So it's well, what are we really talking about here?
Yeah. If this was Josh, if this game was reversed and Lamar Jackson had 127 passing yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions, but Josh had the 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, and the fumble loss, they would string Josh out to dry. Like, he scored, cool, but he also turned the ball over a bunch, and that caused him, the turnover machine, to lose the game for the Bills. Mm-hmm. This was the opposite now, and so now Lamar has to eat that same shit pie. It is what it is.
There's no reason. It's not like he had a Josh Allen game against Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen games in playoffs in the past where he didn't turn over the ball and he made a lot of plays and had 4 touchdowns and dominated the game and lost. No, you had when you look to reasons of why. Okay, that turnover. Oh, Lamar was involved in that. Oh, that turnover. Lamar was involved in that too. So.
My friend, I need to know what you mean by baptize Lamar tomorrow, though. I know what that means because that can mean a lot of stuff. You got to clarify that. That's a crazy comment. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but
It's wild the way Josh Allen's measured amongst other quarterbacks. You know, like when people say, you know, Josh flops. Yeah, he does.
So,
You know? He does, and I'm cool with it.
so right quick, how do you feel about going to Arrowhead facing the Chiefs again? Is it how do you is are they the dark cloud that the Buffalo Bills have to get over? I mean, obviously they are in terms of them beating us from year to year to year, but in terms of matchups this season, it seemed as if the bigger dark cloud that was over us was the Baltimore Ravens as opposed to the Kansas City Chiefs, even though we know the history between the Chiefs and the Bills.
Well, I
So
think this year, I know where you're going already.
yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
My fault for cutting you off.
No, go ahead. You got it.
All right, so I agree that this year the Ravens were our dark cloud because they beat the brakes off of us this year, right? Media wise, right? The world said we couldn't beat the Ravens, and there was this weird thing that people said it was like a rock paper scissors, like we can beat the Chiefs can beat the Ravens, and you know, and the Ravens can beat the Bills, and there was this weird dynamic. And I'm like, all right, like the regular season, the Chiefs beat the Ravens, and then the Ravens beat the Bills. You know, I don't understand why they came to this point because we've beaten the Chiefs the last 3 years in the regular season. We've lost them in the playoffs every time. So I don't get that because the playoffs is different. It's not the same thing, right? And Josh Allen in the playoffs, they say, well, he only beat Skylar Thompson and he beat Mac Jones and he beat Lamar once, now twice, but at that point, Lamar once, and he beat Philip Rivers, old man Rivers in Indianapolis. He beat these bums or these guys who were too old to compete. And now he's beaten Lamar twice. And it's like the narrative is that Josh can't beat good teams, or, you know, teams with a good quarterback. But it's like we've played the Chiefs 3 times in the playoffs. In the first one, they beat the dog shit out of us. They beat the brakes off of us, right? It was like it was bad. But the next 2 we played the Chiefs, Josh Allen and Mahomes had identical stats. Same amount of touchdowns, same amount of turnovers. The yards were like 30 yards apart. Like, let's relax on this a little bit, right? It's a little wild to sit here and act like the regular season is it. Lamar beat us regular season this year, fine. We beat him in the playoffs. When does it matter? Right? So people have to realize that the game is not the same in January. Right? All the chips are on the table right now. Every single game is all in. Every single game is all in. Every chip you got is right here because you can't lose this game because the next one's up. And if you don't win this game, you lose all your chips and you're no longer playing next week. When Josh Allen played Mahomes in them games, 3 touchdowns, 1 turnover, 4 touchdowns, 1 turnover. Mahomes, same exact number. Difference is the defense of their team outplayed ours. We don't have that same measurement to go by with the other guys. It's not real. Dark cloud that the Ravens are for the Bills. Okay. We just saw that it's not real. But the Bills are not the same Bills that they were before. We don't have a Stephon Diggs we're trying to force feed the ball to. We don't have a Gabe Davis who's going to go out there and do what he did, which was excellent in that one game, but 13 seconds. We now have the power to control the clock. We now have the power to out-physical, even though we don't have the power to make the big play most of the time. I think that going big play for big play with Kansas City is a mistake. It's a mistake. And we tried to do that already, and we failed 3 times. Now it's time to put people in a role. You play your role. You actually do your 1/11th. And you play the game and see who comes out on top. I think the Bills are far more prepared now with the guys they have, even though they don't have a Stephon Diggs or a Gabe Davis. They have guys who have a role. And sometimes they change roles and exchange them for somebody else's role. But they don't demand anything outside of give me a chance. Now the Bills are prepared and they're more matured than what they were before. I think the Bills have a better shot this year than any of those other years they beating the Chiefs in the playoffs because of the dynamic of the team and the culture that has grown beyond the Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis era.
I like it a lot. I don't think the Buffalo Bills played their best game yet. I think we've yet to see the best of the Buffalo Bills in terms of overall play. We're now starting. Things are starting to come together now that we're in the playoffs. We get to have that extra focus and that extra attention to detail, and I think that's beneficial for the Buffalo Bills coaching staff. And when you have that, I believe that having another week to address mistakes that you made the week prior, the Buffalo Bills can put together a game plan where they can really, in my opinion, I'm excited to see our Buffalo Bills in the AFC Championship game. I think we can call me overconfident, or maybe I'm confident a little bit too much, but I believe the best is yet to come. I believe the best has yet to come. I believe we have another gear that we can reach in this playoffs. So it's an exciting time, and we'll see what happens.
Oh, now I'm hyped, dude, bro. The mistakes that we couldn't make against the Ravens, we can afford to make a little bit more of those types of mistakes against the Chiefs. But the mistakes we would make against the Chiefs, we couldn't afford to play against the Ravens, right? We couldn't do that, right? The difference in the mistakes is turning the ball over against the Ravens was not an option. It was not an option because if you turn it over against the Ravens, you're gonna get rammed, you're gonna get railed, and you're gonna get set on fire, right? You can make some of those mistakes against the Chiefs because they're gonna make some too. The fact that the Ravens made 3 mistakes and we made 0, that's what this game came down to. The next game is going to come down to, all right, make a mistake here and there. It can't be big.
Now, obviously, the game last year, we didn't have our linebackers, and having both our linebackers is a definitely a big help and upgrade, right? But the first game, the Kansas City Chiefs, they didn't have Hollywood Brown in the mix. How do you feel about him, the insertion with him and being paired with another speedster and a Xavier Worthy? How does that dynamic, and you still got Travis Kelce, who doesn't look like the same Travis Kelce in the regular season, but always finds another gear in the playoffs and is playoff Kelce, right? How does that dynamic? Because it's a different dynamic from week to week. Baltimore, they had one identity, and now you got to do a totally different identity shift and have that ultra sharp focus to be prepared for what the Kansas City Chiefs can bring. How do you feel about that? The dynamics they can bring on offense.
I'll be honest, I'm not that concerned about Hollywood Brown other than his speed. If he can get wide open, then it's a problem. But if he can't, then it's not that big a deal because he drops more balls in puberty. It's a problem. That's their problem. The guy doesn't catch very well. Like he just doesn't. I'm more worried about Worthy. That catch that Worthy made that last game against the Texans, where he's in the air, spinning, catching the ball, coming down, and then getting the first, like that worries me more than Hollywood Brown. I'm really not that concerned about him either, unless like there's some huge gaff on defense that no one's covering him, and he just gets a free release and is just gone. Because if he gets a free release, he is absolutely gone.
He's gone. Yeah, he's gone. That's what concerns
no one's
me.
catching him. Like if Taylor Rapp doesn't play and you have Cole Bishop back there, he has the speed to kind of stick with him because he'll be like 20 yards down the field, so he can kind of turn around and run. He's got 4.4 speed. You're talking about a guy with 4.21 speed or 4.2. Yeah, he's got elite, best in the NFL ever speed, and he actually can play.
Mm-hmm.
He's not a John Ross, right? He actually can play receiver.
Mm-hmm.
He's not great yet, but Mahomes doesn't need to be great. Josh doesn't need our guys to be great. So what makes you think that Mahomes needs his guy to be great?
Right.
It's a weird dynamic that he's back, but I'm far more happy that we got Milano to Bernard healthy for this game, because last year it was Tyrell Dodson who was injured and playing, and AJ Klein who got off the RV to go play against the Chiefs, and we still almost won that game. Now you have a healthy Milano who looks like a game wrecker, and Terrell Bernard, who today proved to be a game wrecker, playing linebacker, and the guys behind him are Dorian Williams. Right? You got Dorian Williams, who, if Milano or Bernard happen to
played well today, man. He popped.
Yeah, he's a dog, man.
Yeah, he's a dog, man. Shout out Dorian Williams. He's a dog. He makes a mistake. He's going to make a mistake at 100 miles per hour, and he forgot he made the mistake the next play he makes.
And if he didn't make a mistake, ouch for you.
Right.
He's putting a hurting on you. But the backup is Dorian now, and like last year, Dorian might not have been ready. He's ready now. So go ahead and hurt Terrell Bernard or Matt Milano and see if you want to get hit by Dorian Williams instead. I don't. I mean, I don't want to get hit by Matt Milano either. That boy's hard. When he hit Bateman today, I was like, "Yo, you sure?"
Yeah. Matt Milano, yeah.
The torpedo is back, bro. It's back, and I was just, I'm so happy that the defense is complete. If Rapp is out, it's a loss, but to me, it's not as big a loss as not having Milano or Bernard out there.
So who gets if Rapp is out, who gets activated? Is it going to be a Kareem Jackson? Is it going to be Kyer Elam? Who gets activated that week?
Elam don't play safety, so it can be Jackson probably. And Lewis Seam was signed by the Eagles, so it's gonna be Kareem Jackson, which I'm comfortable with because he's been playing
a veteran.
For a while.
He's a veteran. Yeah, he's a veteran.
You know, so like you can't count on him being out of place, but you also can't count on him having the physical ability anymore. So it's basically having the AJ Klein safety out there, and mentally, if he's there and he's playing deep, then you can count on him to get to where he's got to go.
But Rapp, man, Rapp is just so underrated in his defense. I just think he is the poor man's version of Jordan Poyer.
Yeah.
He's not Jordan Poyer, but he's a tier below, but he's the poor man's version of Jordan Poyer.
He's the same type of safety. And he's got the mental, but he doesn't have the same exact physical ability as Jordan Poyer. Jordan Poyer physically as a specimen is better than Rapp, but Rapp has that mentality. And what happened to Rapp today is he got injured, right? He got hit, looked like his hip. He was playing a ball and a Hamlin or
like
Taron
Hyde.
Johnson.
Oh yeah, Hyde. This might be. We forgot Hyde.
Oh no! This played out perfect.
Yo, football gods with Mark Andrews drop. Hyde,
perfectly healthy and been on the roster for like 8 weeks.
Oh no! Shit.
Micah Hyde might be that dude right now, bro.
It might be Micah Hyde. Oh, shoot.
Micah.
Yeah.
Who?
This is a storybook right here, man.
Oh, no.
Trey White came through for a visit. He had to come through and check us out before we,
Yo, I forgot all about Micah, man.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Yo,
man,
this might be rough and cheap. This might be a bad day. I'm
pretty sure he's rusty. I'm pretty sure he's not the Micah. Let's not expect, but spirited Micah, I'm sure. Spirited Micah, I'm sure.
He's been practicing for 7-8 weeks now.
He's been getting healthy. I remember when he came in, it was like, "Yeah, you lost weight." And he was like, "Yeah, I lost a little weight." But a couple weeks after that, he was like, "Yeah, I got my weight back, and I'm training now. I got my weight back." So we're gonna see. It's gonna be interesting. But why did you come? I understand you came to the Buffalo Bills because you wanted to, have that last opportunity because it was Buffalo Bills or retire. You wanted to have that last opportunity. Mike Edwards didn't work out for whatever reason, and that opportunity arose. And I know you come for the ride and come for your leadership and your mentorship, but things like this, everything aligns how it aligns for a reason. So
that's crazy, bro.
We're gonna see. We're We're gonna see.
That's wow. We were talking about Kareem Jackson, and we're like, we totally forgot about Micah Hyde. He knows his defense like back of his hand. Wow. Okay.
Time.
So if Taylor Rapp goes on IR because he's gonna be done, getting carted off is not a good look.
It's not a good look. He didn't get to win walk off. It's not a good look.
Micah Hyde gets signed to the active roster. There it is.
Yeah, it is.
Oh man, that's crazy. This next game is gonna be fun, bro. It's gonna be so much fun.
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun to talk about this week. Shout out DM3. Shout out DM3. We're going live Tuesday night. Hey, me and DM3, myself, DM3, going live Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Probably going to break down the game, talk about the Baltimore Ravens a little bit. So stay on the lookout for that. But yeah, Izzy.
Yeah. Hey, look, if you got nothing else, man, it's time to.
It's time. Yeah, it's time. It's time. Buffalo Bills.
Everybody, we appreciate y'all. Hit him up, Akeem. Go ahead.
Nah, I think he was doing. You had it. A Rich, Akeem Richards, Izzy. Red Zone Report post game live, man. Buffalo Bills defeat the Baltimore Ravens by the score of 27-25. Bills move on to the AFC title game against once again the nemesis, the Kansas City Chiefs. Tune in for analysis from the Bills and Buffalo family throughout the course of the week. Izzy, once again, appreciate this, man. Appreciate this. Great job tonight, man. And go Bills, man. Go Bills.
Go Bills. I had to hear you say it, man, because it's like butter when you say it. I say that shit kind of rough. Let's go. Everybody, let's go Bills.
Go Bills.
Celebrate. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. God bless. Happy New Year if we didn't say it before. Man, we are pumped here, baby. Let's go. He got the background. I got the shirt. Let's get it.